And I would agree with you as it pertains to like the algorithms of social media, how they put things in play to program you. You know,
You
like
definitely got to watch that.
mm-hmm,
So at first, I wasn't gonna watch it. I got to be in the mood to watch those kind of things.
mm-hmm,
And I just turned it on the other day, and it was just like, and the people that are in the documentary are the creators of all of this.
mm,
Like the people that are they now belong to an organization that's trying to put some ethics into social media. But these guys are engineers and people who designed these platforms. And
facts.
they're telling you, look, this is what it is. This is what's happening right now. You know, it made me want to go and clean up. I'm gonna buy. They talked about a book in there. 10. I think it's called 10 Arguments on Why You Should Close, Delete Your Social Media Accounts. It's
Mhm.
something like that. I said I'm gonna check that out. But I want to go back and just really use social media strictly for my work.
Mm.
Yeah.
Speaking of social media and culture, uh, there's been an uprising on DJ Vlad. Are you real familiar with what's going on there?
Hmm.
Do you have an opinion on it?
Uh, I do.
Feel free. We're in the bar.
Vlad don't really fuck with me anyway, so I
Oh,
just feel like I'm with Cam and them. I'm just like, what are you doing? Because to me, you he oversteps his boundaries to me. Like you're always talking, stirring up some beef or trying to. I don't even watch Vlad. But what makes me pissed off is when I want to interview some of these brothers, they will jump to Vlad before they'll give me an interview. And that's what pisses me off. You know what I'm saying? I may not have a million followers or a million views like Vlad, but still,
it,
I'm a credible person in the community that does it. That's a journalist, and I have my own business.
facts.
But I never really felt dude. I'm sorry, I just don't. I agree. I think he's a culture vulture.
Yeah, and he has been for quite some time. And just the fact that when you know you're sitting in his chair and he's just monetizing, you don't see like coins popping off on these guys' head like Mario Brothers and shit. Like it's just usury. You know, I don't see a return.
Yeah, and I used to when I was over there at Roscoe's Media Center.
Uh-huh.
I would have all kinds of celebrities coming through there doing interviews and being on podcasts and all that. And he would just show up and try to get interviews with people on my dime and on my property and didn't consider breaking me off no money.
Wow.
So I don't know. I just think I don't know. I don't really care for Vlad that much.
Mm. Yeah, you were over there with Corey Holcomb, right? And Zoe, right?
Yeah, and Speedy, all
Yeah.
the Foxhole shows came over there after
Okay.
the
Okay.
Foxhole shut down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think Vlad. Hopefully, this might be his last hurrah. You know, but we just got.
Or he's gonna have to change, and he's gonna have to give back to the community. If he is gonna keep on doing what he's doing, he's gonna have to give back to the community. Period.
How are we gonna judge? How are we gonna judge that? You know what I mean?
He can show us some receipts that he donated to some foundations and some groups
Mm,
that are helping people, really helping people in these streets. You
hmm.
know, pay people a percentage of the monetization you're making off their interviews. We could start there.
Facts, facts. Is um, is it our fault or his fault or both?
I think artists should stop giving them interviews
Mm.
and come to me.
No, because I said no. No, you preaching to the choir as it pertains to that. Listen, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you what. When I started this platform a handful of years ago, I said I'm doing this just so because I know black fighters started off in boxing. Boxers are not getting a fair handshake, right? And I built this platform um, so they can come here and just feel comfortable. I call it the barbershop. You can come here, you can
Mm-hmm.
talk black. You ain't got to worry about a small hat looking over you, telling you what to say, when to say it, how to say it, what time to say it, when you got to get dressed, when you can leave. And honestly, I can honestly say there's only, and you're talking about gladiators, like real time gladiators, niggas who go in there and fight with broken noses and broken knuckles and swollen eyes. And uh, it's not a large percentage of them that's willing to sit in the same seat you're sitting in, and because they say, oh, Fred, man, I don't know, man, you're gonna ask me some tough questions, nigga. You hanging out with a bunch of niggas that look just like you, that's thinking the same thing you're thinking, but you won't say it, so I relinquished. I wouldn't say I relinquished. It was a combination of me like standing up to the system and shit. You know what I mean? Like I don't give a fuck because I was a credentialed media personnel and I just gave that shit up. I just said fuck it, keep your credentials. I don't want them. Some of them took the credentials, some of them I gave them back, and I said I'm just gonna be completely independent. You understand? And she'll be back in a second.
Trying to call me. I told dude I was doing an interview, and he's calling me. I'm like, dude, damn.
You got to come out and
Can
come
you
back
see
in.
me?
Can't see you. Nah,
Can you hear me though?
I can hear you, but you're black. You dark skin.
Oh, okay. I don't know why my
Oh,
camera's
so
still
I'm
on.
gonna
Let's
beam
see.
you out, and I'll beam you out, and just beam back in on the same link.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, man. Yeah, some of your favorite fighters, man. I'll never disclose them. I'll never put that because people know people who know people who know people, and I don't feel like fighting those flames and shit. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of fighters that I've reached out to. Oh, Fred, I can't. Oh man, you ask the tough questions, man. You gonna make people know you don't. I had a black man tell me, Fred, man, you don't fuck with white people. Fighters tell me that shit, dog. Oh, you don't fuck with white people, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm like, huh? You're a world champion. I'm confused. I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm completely confused as to what you talking about. You know what I mean? It's just here she's back in.
There I
Yeah,
am.
yeah,
Sorry
man.
about that.
Oh, no worries. It definitely happens. But I've gone through that so many times, man. I honestly, and what people don't understand, who gives a fuck about how many followers, especially on YouTube? If it's good, it's gonna pop. You can't hide anything on YouTube. You can't hide it. Once it goes public,
Mm-mm.
people type in your name, boom, it explodes, and I hope that I think this generation moving forward, or people who have access to media and people who use YouTube now, I think
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna get that long term. Understand? Like, fuck with your people. It's incredibly important.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how about women in media? How's that? Is it a fair handshake between the male and the female?
Um, I think like all of my career, I've never I didn't recognize, I'll just say I didn't recognize sexism in my early part of my career, because I always had the attitude that I'm gonna do what I want to do,
Mhm,
and there ain't gonna be nobody stopping me.
mhm,
But at the same time, I also realized had I been male, I probably would have been a lot further in my career
mhm,
if I were male. But I say for the women in media, just keep it professional. You know, always have your professional hat on. when you're out there working, you
Mm,
know. A lot of times, we get caught up and we want to party and we want to be in the glitz and the glam, and then these celebrities that hit on you, and then you're next thing you know, you're dating or messing around with so and so, but you
sure.
really, for women, got to keep it respectful.
Mm,
I have to say that I feel I feel respected by every artist I've ever interviewed. Like, I remember years ago, MTV sent me out to interview Tyler the Creator.
oh, dope.
And they kept saying, just be careful. They're real, wild, and they're this and that. And they said the same thing to me before I went to go interview Lil Wayne. And
Mhm,
when I did go out there to interview them, they didn't know me because they're like a little past my generation,
mhm, mhm,
but they respected me. They gave me the interview. They were very polite. Little Wayne had his phone call, and he was like, "Pardon me." I mean, he was like real mannerable. So it's all in how you carry yourself.
mm,
If you carry yourself like a queen, or if you carry yourself with respect, people are gonna respect you.
mm.
You know.
What's some of the funniest moments of your career? You mentioned Lil Wayne calling you ma'am, or let's
Pardon me, I got to take this call.
uh,
Um,
pardon me, I gotta take this call.
Definitely being out on the road with Jamie Foxx and my co-host.
Uh-huh.
That was 24 hours of laughs everywhere we went. Being on the road with a bunch of comedians is definitely I guess the funniest moments I've had, like just them bagging on each other, and I was always like the straight person in the crew. I would always like rein them in if they was going out too far or whatever. But those were some of the funniest times, is being on the road with comedians.
Mm. How talented is Jamie?
Jamie is super talented, and I'm not just saying that
Oh,
because he's a good friend of mine, but Jamie's outstanding. His work speaks for itself. I mean, he can act, write songs. He's a great musician, a singer, and he's just naturally funny. I remember when we were doing the Foxhole, I always felt that Jamie was really himself when he was doing the Foxhole. He had to be a certain way in Hollywood and on camera, but when he was on the mic with us doing the show, it was really like he was hanging out with his friends, and I really felt that was the authentic Jamie was on the Foxhole.
yeah, I've had several conversations about Jamie, not because I don't know him, never met him.
Yeah.
Uh, I think he's one of, and this is a compliment. He's one of the guys that can never reach his apex because I think he's that talented. I think he's that special. Like like I remember, like, he's one of my he's a part of my funny box, right? Like, when I want to laugh, I go to that skit when he's like, "Oh, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you,"
Hmm.
like in Oakland when a nigga's on the couch, he said, "You could bite the back of a Volkswagen." Did you
Yeah,
see that?
Jamie's so funny,
Yeah.
and like, I mean, when he's like, especially when he's around his boys and they go at it, it's just um, it's just funny. And
Mhm.
Jamie really has a good heart. A lot of people don't know that he is really genuinely a nice guy.
Mm.
I've never seen him um, be rude to anybody, to any of his fans. I've never seen him act Hollywood to people. He's always been nice. He takes care of the people that he loves.
Beautiful.
And I just have nothing bad to say about him at all. I mean, I had some of the best times of my life with Jamie, even before I joined the Foxhole. We had been friends from like the late 80s, early 90s. And
Mm.
when he did start doing In Living Color and start making money, he would still just like reach out to me. He gave me a couple birthday parties at his house. I mean, he
Oh,
just takes care of the people that he loves, you
mm.
know.
I've heard
Yeah,
that story a lot too because I have mutual friends with Dave Brown. I don't know Dave Brown
yeah,
personally,
I know
but
Dave.
yeah, but we have mutual friends, and they say that about Jamie. Oh, just come over to the house. That's that's what I. Uh,
Jamie is, and that's the other thing. Jamie is the best party host.
yeah, I've been to his house for a party now.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
he knows how to host
yeah,
a party. I mean,
yeah.
he is a good host,
Uh
you
huh.
know.
Yeah, and so yeah, media studios. What's next? And what can we expect? The address, contact information, all that good
What's
stuff.
next
Yeah.
is I would love to really make this place into an academy, which was my dad's dream, is to
Mhm.
have young people here learning radio and podcasting, and then spreading out to a bigger space to
Wow,
build
that's a big
a.
place you in now.
I know, but I have a
Whew.
dream of building like this big building and having pods,
Mm,
people podcast in different networks. I want to build a credible Black talk network, uncensored. Um, and then I'm also writing a book.
mm,
Um, the working title is Conversations with the Poetess, Oral Histories of West Coast Hip Hop.
mm.
And they're all my 30 years of interviews with the pioneers of West Coast hip hop, like Egyptian Lover and
Egyptian.
Mixmaster Spade and Too Short and E40 and Snoop. All these interviews I've collected and done over the last 25 plus years.
Mm,
I'm putting in a book for people to. I mean, you see a lot of documentaries,
mm,
but they never go into great detail about the West Coast. And I have so many good stories that have not been told yet that I'm writing a book and then eventually doing a series, a docu series. So based on the book. So I've been working on that, transferring all of my interviews, which are amazing, a
mhm,
lot of knowledge and amazing history, um, from people, some people that aren't even here anymore,
mhm.
that I had an opportunity to interview, like Roger Clayton from Uncle Jam's Army. Are you from
Yes, very much so.
LA?
Well,
Okay,
I came when I was 8. I'm from New York, so but I
okay.
consider myself LA.
Yeah, so those, so that's another project that I've been working on outside of the studio. But we're Morris Media Studios. We have a YouTube channel. You can check out some of the stuff we're doing. We do podcasts. We do audio books for people who are looking for a place to record audio books.
Mm,
We have a green room where people can do photography and videos. So we just continue to build the brand and to bring, live out our build our legacy, the Morris legacy. Like I said, my dad was in radio over 50 years. He
beautiful.
was just recently inducted into the Bay Area Radio Hall of Fame.
Mm.
And so, yeah, just keeping that Morris name going in
That's
radio.
and that's where you're headed, to the Hall of Fame, huh?
Um, I'm just doing the work. And I just feel like do the work and all those accolades will come.
Facts,
You
facts.
stay focused. If you focused on getting your props or getting accolades, you're going to be disappointed quite a few times.
No, you're absolutely right.
So just do the work and do good work, and
Mm,
you will get your accolades.
mm. Yeah, we appreciate you coming on. I'm real happy you came on, and thank
Thank
you.
you. I'm sorry for the technical issue. I kept
Oh,
clicking
it's
my
no
computer. I
technical
wanted
issue.
to throw that thing on the floor and stomp on it. I was like, you gonna act up now?
You was about to put your Kirk Franklin on him. He's about to make you want to stomp.
Knowing damn well I can't afford to do that. I'd have work on that computer.
Neither, no one can. No one can.
Man, I had to just beat my hand on the table, but I was just like, wow, you're going to act up now. I got to do this interview. I'm already 10 minutes late. So I'll just do the phone. So it worked out.
Thank you so much for coming in. I'm actually going to DM you. I got a question for you. I'm going to DM you.
Okay, cool. And y'all follow me at OG Poetess on IG and on IG mainly, and Twitter.
Oh, you talk a lot of shit on Twitter?
I just like, you know what I learned too? I keep bringing up this documentary, but it's so amazing that they purposely put certain things on your timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like the only thing I get on my timeline is Trump haters. Like Stephen King and George Takei and all big famous Hollywood people. And so I'd like to get some of my news and opinion on Twitter.
I haven't transferred over to Twitter yet, but I get a lot of my news from Twitter because people DM me a lot of stuff. So, but yeah,
Twitter. I like looking at some of the interesting comments on Twitter.
Facts.
Yeah. OG Poetess for those that want to follow.
I'll put it in the chat. I'll definitely put it in the chat.
Definitely.
And thank you for coming in. We really
you got to come back by the studio.
Yeah, I am. I promise you. I am.
Yeah.
Maybe 15 too many times, but I'll be back.
That'll be cool. Be cool.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
The
great one. The great one.
Thank you. That's a big compliment. I saw your compliment on IG. I appreciate it.
Oh, you are. I've listened to you. Yeah. You and Nautica. You know, those are the voices. You know, I mean, you and Nautica. Y'all the voices of my generation for sure. You know, I was explaining to the people before you came on, like every city has a version of you. You know what I mean? These major cities, because they all on that brand, but you were special. I remember you going in the community and stuff. I remember setting up. I never got a chance to meet you, but I remember it. You know what I mean? Doing the work, like you say, doing the work.
Well, I appreciate you acknowledging that. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, all the time. Always got a home here.
All right, and likewise.
Thank you. Yeah. I'll be in touch. I'm gonna DM you right now. So
okay.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Appreciate you.
Peace.
Oh, that was fun. The Poetess, y'all. The Poetess. I remember. It's funny, man. I'm just gonna retell it and reset the show, and then we'll go into Vlad and all that shit, right? I'm like, I know this voice. Who is this woman? You know, and she said the Poetess. I'm like,